Hi Flosstube, it's Karen, recovering monogamous stitcher. I'm back with video number 54. 54, yes, sorry. Today is Thursday, September 26th, 2024. I hope to get this video up later this morning. I'm usually here on Fridays, but as I told you last time, I'm going to a retreat. So I'm recording a day earlier than usual, and then I'll be back on my regular date next time. Well, welcome back, people who have followed me. I'm thrilled that you're back. I love hearing from you, all the wonderful comments. My virtual family is growing. Again, I have more new followers. I really appreciate it. And if you're new here, thank you so much. You're very welcome, and I hope you enjoy what you see and that you will subscribe and like the video. I do have a goal of getting to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so I hope you'll help me get there. If you've been just watching and not subscribing, it would really help if you subscribe. And if you click that bell, you will know every time I put up a video, and you won't miss. If, for example, I'm sharing something, and that kind of happens sometimes. So welcome, let's get going here. I've got a lot to talk about. Let's see, there was a question from the last video. I had mentioned that I don't, when I was talking about my quilt, I mentioned that I don't use the friction pin on dark fabric, and I was asked why. And this is something I learned by experience a long time ago. You'll remember an earlier video I showed Amish with a twist, and there were lots of lights and darks. And the colors in that quilt were very similar. There were, you know, like there was one that was called brown, another was called chocolate, and for me to remember which was the brown and which was the chocolate, I would take my friction pen and mark. And this is what happened when I ironed it off the dark. Can you see that it says brown on there? And I had sewn it in. I had to take it out because it didn't end up being in a seam. And so ever since then, I don't use friction on dark. I have no concern about it on a busy print or on a light fabric. It comes right out. And to me, it's the most convenient. It's fast and easy, and I love it. But on dark, I do have my chalk pencil that I use because I'm just, you know, I don't want that to happen again. So I pulled that out of my scraps from that quilt. Okay, that was that question. Two viewers asked for the link to the Amazon box that I use for Vicki Clayton Silks. And I went back through to see if I could just say, check on the notes on video number such and such. I couldn't find where I had put that either. So I'm putting it in the notes below again. So if you're looking and are interested in this little box from Amazon that it works perfectly for Vicki Clayton Silks, the link is in the notes below. So check that out. Sorry. One other follow-up from last video, I still need to hear from Christine Curry, 7553. And Christine, I need to hear from you by October 10, because the next day is my next video, and I'm going to have more things, and I don't want to keep track of two separate giveaways. So, oh, I didn't mean to say that. Shares. So please, I need your address, your mailing address, so I can get this out to you. And if I don't hear from you by October 10, this will go in another giveaway. Okay, that's that. Okay, Flosstube through it already. We've just gotten started. Okay, what have I done in the last 2 weeks? Well, I've stitched every day. It's Sampler September. I made sure I didn't miss any stitching days. I did compromise a bit on my quilting time because, for one thing, I finished quilting Patchwork Marn. And I've told you I have a lot of things that needed painting, and once I set up for painting, I'm just going to do the painting. I did. I thought I was giving up one morning sewing machine time. I'll give up for painting. Well, it took 3. So I seriously underestimate how much time things take. So I've gotten a lot of things done and ready to go for final finishing. So I'll share those with you in a bit. I went to a quilt show in Georgetown. It was very nice. One of my Stitchy friends also is in the Quilt Guild, so I got to see her quilt. It was very nice, so that was fun. I did 3 Zooms with my regular groups that I Zoom with, Central Kentucky Stitchers, Queen City Sampler Guild, and my StitchCon friends. And I had a huge surprise. Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot invited me to be the guest Flosstuber on her Zoom with some of her viewers. She draws names of her viewers and sets up a Zoom on a Sunday afternoon, and so she gets to know personally some of her viewers, and her viewers get to know her, and I was just so lucky to be able to join that. It was so much fun. People were from all over, of course, as always is the case, one even from Portugal. And it was just great fun. And Sarah, you know how she's so enthusiastic and so wonderful and happy. She just makes me happy every time I listen to her. So Sarah, thank you so much for that, my friend. Okay, I have an FFO. With all the things I've done, I have one that's fully finished. Long and Winding Road, Blackbird Designs. I stitched this on 36 count scroll from BestitchMe, and I used all DMC threads. And Sarah, I told you incorrectly. I think I told you I stitched this on 32. It's a 36 count. And I finished it on this box I got from Amazon, which is one of my painting projects. And I just put paper in the bottom and paper inside the cover. And so this is fully finished. So this is part of the Magical Mystery Tour from Blackbird Designs. For me, this is number 5 of the 6. I have started number 6, which is Yellow Submarine for me. So I have 5 fully finished already. Yay, this is fully finished. And so Yellow Submarine is my next one that I'll concentrate on to get done. So this, and I'll put the link for the box. Now, let me tell you about the box order. I ordered 2 times. Thought I was getting the same thing both times. This is the first one I ordered. It's deeper, sorry. It's deeper, as you can see, like a little bit, and it's slightly bigger around. Oops, I could show them the right way, would be nice. But and it's slightly bigger around. And I thought I was getting the same thing both times. I didn't. The first one I got was like this, which I was thrilled with, loved it, you know, because I'm not buying the shaker box. And then my second order was this one, but it came with 2. So I have another box just like this that I'll save for another finish sometime and then paint at that point in time when I know what color I want it to be. And I went back through, because I know people are going to want the links, I went back through my Amazon orders and my history, and I only find the link that shows the 2. I've looked, I've searched, I can't, in my history it's not there, and I've searched on the site and I don't find the one that I ultimately put Midnight Ride on. So the link, I'm sure, will go to this one that will have 2 in the set. So if you're interested, that's available at very reasonably priced. I think it's $17 for them. Okay, so fully finished and Midnight Ride, as I say. This was stitched on 32 count linen, and I used the DMCs. I have ordered Lady Dot trim in the orange, the bittersweet, that I'll add to this. So I don't count this as fully finished yet. It's close to being finished, but I'm going to put the chenille on it. Now the process I did for my painting, I'm going to talk a little bit about, because it got, I did a bunch of things. I did, after I painted these, I did put wax on them. It's antiquing wax. This is something I also ordered from Amazon, and it has walnut stain. Oh, come on, it doesn't screw off. You have to pull it off. Come on. There, it's very dark. So you just take a rag and rub it on your finished piece after, of course, it's dried. Rub it on your finished piece, let it sit and dry thoroughly. I don't even know how long I did, probably overnight. And then you take a cloth and buff it so that you know, wax doesn't rub off on your hands. I did use painting gloves when I used this because it has the walnut oil or stain in it, and yeah, the gloves got really messy, so I was glad that was not on my hands. So that's the process I used for both of these boxes. I've got to get this stuff out of the way. My table is full. Okay, I have this finish you haven't seen for a while because I never had it mounted on the board. The last time you saw it, I had it finished and laced, and I had the bare wood board that I got, Michael's or Hobby Lobby, don't remember, one of them. But I didn't want to mount it, of course, until I had painted it. And I just had the idea that I wanted a crackle finish. You see the crackle finish on that? Okay, so the method for that is, first, the board was painted orange and let it dry. Then you put the oh, I was going to pull out that spackle. Anyway, it's just in a bottle. It's Folk Art brand, the same brand as my little acrylic paints. And I got that at Michael's. And you put the crackling medium on, let that dry at least an hour. Then you put your top color on, which in this case was black. And when it dries, it just crackles up. So I was very pleased with this. And this was kind of an experiment because I have Casting a Spell. This is one of the first Blackbird designs I fell in love with. So I've had the pattern, but I didn't want to stitch it until I knew I would have the box and I could finish it the way I want to in the box. So I found the box at Hobby Lobby, but then of course it had to be painted. So it waited and waited. And I decided I wanted to do the crackle finish on the box. So, oh, you can see all reflection there. Yeah, look at that mess back there. Oh, that's my, okay. Anyway, you can see the crackle. Turned out pretty good. The first time I did, same method, painted it orange, let it dry. Put the medium on, let that dry. Then put the top coat on. And apparently I was not generous enough with the medium, the crackle medium, because the crackles were just extremely fine and not very apparent. So I sanded it down. Now the inside of the box is just black. I didn't do crackle on the inside. I just kept that all black. But on the outside I did this. So I sanded it down so it was rough enough for another layer of paint to stick. Repainted it orange, did a more generous coverage of the crackle medium, then painted it black, and it crackled like this. And I am really happy with it. Really happy with it. So that's my Casting a Spell box, and I just put black felt on the bottom of the box, so it's ready to go. I did a pretty good job of masking the hardware so it didn't get slopped up. So, and then the inside you can see is just black. So Casting a Spell is now going to be a soon project. And someone asked if I would please show my project bags, and I'm sorry, I forget to do that all the time, and I just make my own, so it's not like I have special stuff, it's just mine. So I have a Halloween bag. I made this, and it has the foam inside, and I quilt it on the, you know, the back and the inside lining piece is quilted, and I use that heavy duty, I think it's called 16 gauge, but the heavier vinyl, and I just put a little zipper pull thing around there. So that's Casting a Spell, soon to be started. Sorry, I've got to get this stuff off here because it's piled all over. Then I've had several other things that I didn't stitch until I knew I could finish it the way I wanted to finish it. So you've seen this. This, I think this was, I got it from Shakespeare's Peddler, and I think it was an exclusive from Primitive Hair. Home is where my stitching is, and I had the idea to put it in the bottom of a tray. Instead of framing it, put it in a tray and let it be a stitching tray. So that's my idea for this. And it came with the fabric. I don't know if and the threads too. So I got a tray, again, Hobby Lobby. I cut my mat board, it's all ready to go. And I just did black. I didn't want any crackle on that. It's black, white, gray, so anyway, I didn't want crackle. So I have this ready. So here's another project ready to get started soon. And that one is going in this donut bag. And again, I finished on the foam. I do quilting, and I have a zipper pull that's a donut with sprinkles. So that's that one. I can start that sometime soon. And the one that really had me going was Brenda Gervais, When Flowers Blossom. Oops, When Flowers Blossom. And I loved it, got the pattern, but I didn't want to stitch it if I couldn't put it in a tray like this. And for several years, I know, I keep checking Country Stitches online. It's not available, not available, not available. And so I would look and look for a tray that would be an appropriate size. And I did find one. I think it was Michael, either Michael's or Hobby Lobby, sorry. They get mixed up in my mind. And I guessed at the red because, you know, you get those little bottles of acrylic paint and you look through the plastic, well, what color is it really? I have one that's apple red and the other is engine red, fire engine red, something like that. So anyway, I got it, painted it red, and I thought it was too bright. So I did some black paint over it, which I really didn't need to do since I was doing the antiquing wax, but I did. And then I did the antiquing wax on it also. So it's ready to go. And I did a little light sanding between coats, so because the handles were really rough. So I have my mat board cut. That one's ready to go. I have my fabric and my threads. I've had them for a while, but of course I was waiting to get this tray. So this is a beehive theme bag that I did, and I quilted it. It's on the foam, of course. The what does Annie call hers? I can't remember. By Annie is where I got this particular one. And I found this cute little bee charm. It was on sale, clearance. So that's the zipper pull. So that's When Flowers Blossom. Brenda Gervais. Again, I can get that started now sometime. And I had other things to paint too. So you remember this one, Pennsylvania Dutch Pin Keep, and I got the little candle, I think it's a candle holder actually, that I got from Country Stitches Online, Brenda Gervais' site. Painted it that the same red that I did the red tray, and did the wax on it, and glued it to used Aleene's and glued it to the bottom. And when I got it out, I thought, should I take that apart or take the top off and get more stuffing in it? To me, it's too soft, but I was afraid I would make a mess of it and make it worse than it is. So I'm just leaving it alone, but there it is, all finished. This is fully finished now. I counted it as fully finished before, but it's really finished now. Okay, and a few other things. I have this little block I got from Kathy on Needles and Scraps with Molly and Kathy. Gosh, a year ago? More? I don't know. This little, it was a block of wood. Her husband drills the hole in it for a scissor. It's a scissor holder. She sent the 4 vintage Santa pictures, and the block had to be painted black, so of course it sat and waited and waited and waited. And she sent this little piece of felt for the bottom. So I painted it. These are Mod Podged on, so you do a layer of Mod Podge on the block, and then you layer Mod Podge on the picture, put it on, Mod Podge over, let it dry between layers, give it a light sanding, another layer. I think I did 3 layers of Mod Podge, and then I used the antiquing wax on it just to get it a little more vintagey looking. So that's done. I think I showed these, daughter was here when I got these at Hobby Lobby. They had these little letters, which they don't seem to have in their shelves at all anymore, because I was going to get more. I was going to get BRR to do Burr. So I did Boo, painted a little spider web in the corner of the B, and in the bottom corner of the O. So this is now going to go upstairs with my Halloween display. And I did do the antiquing on this. Someone asked if I would show the difference that it makes, and I will show you. I did swatches on a comic board, cardboard, and I did the wax across so you can see. Okay, another little display case I got. I think Joann's actually. Anyway, I painted it white, and I'm going to get some of that plush jewelry box fabric. I know I can get it from Amazon, maybe someplace else, and just put it there. I thought I could display, you know, a special strawberry or something, but in the meantime, until I have something else I want to display in it, I have something special that was from my grandmother. My mother gave it to me, and I'm going to put that in this case until I have some stitchy stuff to put in it, because I keep it in my jewelry box because I don't closed and nobody sees it, because I don't want anybody to mess it up. So anyway, I'll show that to you when I get the plush fabric on the bottom. More of these paper mache letters. I got, oops, I think it actually goes this way. Yeah, USA. And I used the apple red on the U. It is just as hard to make neat painting white as it is to make neat white stitches, I'll tell you. I did the first coat and did the wax on it, and because the paint was uneven, it didn't look nice. So I sanded it down, painted it again, and decided I'm not even going to put the wax on it this time. So the S has 2 coats and no antiquing wax. You see, it's still kind of hard. Anyway, and then the A, and I did wax the U and the A. So USA, that's not in time for this year, but I'll have them for next year. And I had a couple stars. Made these to go with the USA display. It came with a little hanging loop, and I just pulled that off. It came right off, and again, waxed them, sanded them down a little bit to rough them up, and then waxed them and rubbed it off. So that's for summertime display. Patriotic. Okay, this is, okay, the paints, I tried to remember before I washed my brush to put a swipe on there. And then this is where the antiquing wax went. And I don't remember now if I rubbed it off. I may have, because it doesn't feel tacky at all. I think I did rub it off. So you can see this white paint there, and it was rough. So see, it makes it really show up. But the others, it just kind of dulls it down a little bit. You can't really tell on the black, but anyway, that's what the antiquing wax did. Just so you know. Okay, one other almost finish that I did was the Katie Strachan silk conversion of Brenda Gervais pattern, which I've shown you stitched before, but I've finished the pillow, except I want a trim on it. I found in my stash a piece of Minnick & Simpson. This was from Indigo Crossing. I loved that collection of fabrics that they did, Indigo Crossing. And they're going to retire. How rude. That shouldn't be allowed at all, I don't think. So anyway, I want to get a trim. And my trim is too bright. So, I don't know, it's kind of a denim-y color or something. I didn't like the brown, I don't know. Anyway, I have to make a decision on finding that. I filled it entirely with walnut shells, so of course the corners are going to get loose because they shift around. But anyway, so that's an almost finish. Okay, the other thing I was going to tell you was my circle cutter I showed you that I got on clearance, super clearance. I'm not passing judgment on this yet. It may be user error. I had a difficult time seeing how big my circle is going to be. You have to look through the plastic to see the numbers. One side is inches and the other side is centimeters, which is fine, but I don't see a point that I'm coming to measure for the center. Now there is a center, and you can pull this little foot off and it has a point, but you have to put the foot on so that when you're doing the circle it doesn't scoot around. Well, then the point is covered, and so it's really kind of a guess as to where your center is, which is okay if you have extra and you know, and you're just, okay, I'll cut this circle any place, I guess, if you have your size set. But my size was never right. I would cut the circle, it'd be pretty close, and I'd have to take scissors and trim it down. Well, what good is that? I may as well cut it out. So, and I looked on the Fisker's site for the instructions, more detailed instructions, they say. I couldn't find it. Couldn't find it anywhere. So, anyway, I can't vote either way, yay or nay on this, because it could be my fault. So that was kind of a bust in this project. Okay, let's see, did I do everything? I talked the round boxes, the cutter. Okay, whips. Now, it's Sampler September, and I had decided I was going to do 5x5 in September, and I did. I've completed my 5 days on each of 5 different samplers. I felt it worked really well for me. So here, the last time I had done part of my 5 days on Margaret Hutton, which is the pattern we got at Queen City Sampler Guild in Cincinnati when Nicola Parkman came and taught the class, specialty stitches. And I didn't put any of these on boards. I don't know what's wrong with my head today. So, since the last time I had a couple more days to finish this, I know I finished all those rows and went back to the 4-sided stitch, working down the 4-sided stitch row. But my entire border is done. I'm happy with that. Eat your vegetables first. So there's that. And the bag this is in, this is a professional bag. It's I love this like my berry bag too, my birthday sale. But this is somebody else. It's P&T it says, and I don't know what P&T is. So if you do, that's who made this bag, and that's what Margaret Hutton is in. Oops, got a lot of bling on that one. The next sampler I did 5 days on, Catherina, Adriana, Leunissen. She is the Seafarer's Goddess. And I started at the top. It's on my scroll rods. So I got a lot more done over here. I had most of this bird done and part of the branch. I'm still not done with the branch, and I had that done. But these birds I had to finish. I did all of this and all of this bird and all of this. And then on this side, I started working on this branch. I'm sure I had that done last time you saw this. So, Catherina, Adriana, Leunissen. Okay. And this one is, I have my materials in this Project Keeper. I used Tiger Lily Designs pattern available on her website. Velcro, and I made the kind with the DMC pockets because I'm a DMC girl, as you know. It is really nice. It has a pocket back there and a zipper pocket, so it has 2 pockets inside plus my DMCs. So that's Catherina. Okay. And the 5th one I worked on was Gott. It's another big one. Now this is not a reproduction, this is an adaptation of an antique. So I felt like I had permission to change it, and I did. They provide charted words. If it says, "A present to my dear aunt," and then they provide chart of various other family names, and then they also have a chart of a different verse, which is simple enough, and I did the verse. Find happiness in simple things. So I got all that flower done, the flowers on each side of the verse, and I'm continuing the border down, and then I'll do the mirrored, this flowers over here too, and continue working down. So that was my sampler September. Oh, my bag on this one is one of my very early ones that I made, and I I love this fabric and wanted to use every single bit of it, so I made it taller than normal because I did not want to waste any of it. I used quilt batting. I thought, oh, that ought to be good enough. It's too floppy. I don't like it as well as I do the ones I do now with the foam in it. And it's a different kind of style. It still has binding on it, but it has fabric around the vinyl. That was the method. Kimberly Jolly came out with a method of making vinyl front project bags. And I think that's still available on her website, by the way, which I would be happy to still do it that way, except I really like the foam, and I've kind of done some shortcuts for myself. I don't do the extra fabric around. The binding is what goes on it. So that's the bag for Gott. Okay. Oh, I didn't talk about the fabrics. Anyway, okay, Gott is on 46 Caramel Macchiato from Fiber on a Whim, and I'm using all the called for classic color works. Okay, and if you want to know the other ones, just email me and I'll tell you what I'm using for those. Okay, that's it for my sampler September. I had Stitchy Kindness. I got a thank you card from one of my viewers for a pattern that she received from me. Thank you so much. I appreciate your thank you card. Not necessary, but I do appreciate it. And I keep all these cards too, so thank you. Okay. Okay, let's see. My haul, not very interesting. Got a ton of zippers and a disappearing marker for fabric. This one comes off with water, not with air. And I got one piece of fabric from BestitchMe. It's called Grog, 46 count. And this one, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of gold or orangey. And the piece I had in 36 count is more of a subtle, like taupe, which it's the one I used for Redbird sampler. And so I'm kind of surprised at this, but I know dyes take differently on different counts of fabric, so that's what this is. And it's 46 count. I'm feeling like I want to move to 46 count a little bit and get the samplers just a teeny bit smaller. So that's my haul. That's the sum of it. Okay, my plans. I have a retreat in Litchfield, Kentucky with Lucy Beam. Her daughter is going to be there also. She's the fabric dyer for Lap and Loops. That's her business. So they will both be there, and we'll have some special project. Not sure what it's going to be. It should be fun. And let's see. So that's why I'm recording a day early. And my plans in October, I'll get back to my regular routine of 7 days on my focus piece. And if you're new here, I always have a focus piece, which I have decided it's always my oldest whip. And I stitch on it for 7 days in a month, and it remains my focus piece until it is done. And the current focus piece is Margaret Doyle, which is Hands Across the Sea. That was an exclusive from Kitten Stitcher. I will go back to red sampler 3 days in the month. I always have a red sampler on the go. This one currently is Anna Oman, so I'll be getting back to that. I plan to get back to Yellow Submarine, and I want to do some seasonal stitching. I've got, I did a tiny little start on Spell of the Moon. I showed you that last time, and since I was digging through my patterns, I have, oops, covered it up with all kinds of stuff here. I have a seasonal bag. This is when I made, when I put the binding on, I flipped it upside down. I have it this way. 3 seasonal. I have Bent Creek Thankful Quaker, ready to go. Depends on what my mood is. Reverend Gordon Squash Bottom from Not Forgotten Farm. I have that pattern and fabric and threads for that. DMCs. And Thomas, Not Forgotten Farm. I have my fabric and threads for that. And it actually calls for an 18 count Ada, coffee dyed. And it looks quite bright. and mine is ivory, but I think I'll give it a little dunk in coffee anyway. So those are some seasonal choices that I have, including Scallop the Moon. Okay. Okay, so those are my plans. Let's see. I'm going to go on to the quilts now. And before anybody leaves, I want you to know that the next video will be October 11. And I plan to have some surprises because my goal is to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And when I have things to share, I seem to get more subscribers. So I want to kick it in the pants. So be sure to come back on the 11th and see what's up and what's going to be possibly coming your way. Okay, so we're going, before I move, I have some pictures to share from viewers, 2 of them, and I'm going to show it here because, can I make it bigger? Yes, I make it a little bigger. Okay. Oh, when I unplug it, it gets dull. Okay, this is Tannenbaum, and it is from, and I apologize, Neckrep Beata? Beata, I think Beata is the first name. Okay, Tannenbaum, and look at what she did. She had it quilted, oops, oh yes. Fat finger syndrome, I'm sorry. Okay. She added snowflakes here. Appliqued snowflakes. Isn't that pretty? That was a wonderful idea. I'm thinking about that. Just thinking about that. And then another one I have is from Just So Sherry. And she sent me a picture of her ocean waves or ocean tide. Wait. Oh, it doesn't show on the picture the title. I think it was Ocean Tide. Isn't that pretty, all those blues? That's Laundry Basket Quilts also. So thank you so much for sharing those pictures with me. I appreciate that. I'm sure everybody appreciates seeing something extra. Okay, now I'm going to disconnect the camera and walk over to the quilt behind me. We'll talk about that one, and then we'll do a little glance at the finished one on the long arm. And what a mess, pile of mess I have all over here. Pull this back. Okay, the quilt on the wall is called the Vice Versa. It was a block of the month. Wait, let me push this table back so I can get back farther. It was a block of the month back in the years when I followed blogs and did blog and all that stuff. From GenXQuilts was the designer of the blocks, and it's called Vice Versa because each block is in here twice, and it's done in opposite colorways. So, for example, this one, you see, has white in the middle and colored flying geese, and its opposite is here, and it has color in the middle and white flying geese. So that's the idea, that if it had a white place in one block, then in the other block it has color in that same space. So this is the quilt, and I'm thinking and thinking how I'm going to be quilting this. I don't see feathers on this. This to me looks like it's screaming for modern geometric something. So I'm thinking Judy Madsen. And the blocks are already on point. So anything I want to put on point is not going to be a contrast. And I like contrast. So I see a thread here. So anyway, I'm thinking about what I'm going to do. And I've got a pretty good picture of it from the wall here. It's hanging pretty flat. And I think I can put it in my good notes and practice drawing out some sample designs and see what I think I'm going to do. And I don't want to be changing thread colors, so I have to choose a color. I mean, I can, but it's a pain. I mean, every time I change a color, I have to check my tension and all that stuff. So I'm thinking and thinking. Tannenbaum, as I said, is now down and in a bag, and yes, I'm thinking and thinking. It has to marinate a while in my brain before I know what I'm really doing. Plus, I'm now contemplating adding some snowflakes, so that's vice versa. And then go around to the long arm, and here is Patchwork Barn done. All the way, top to bottom. I put some pictures on Instagram. It the quilting, the texture of the quilting shows better in shadow than in bright light. So you can see I did feathers all up these strips that go between the blocks, all the way up. And then the applique on the sides, I did an echo quilt around each of the shapes and then filled in with pebbles and let the pebbles kind of just fade out toward the edge, and then I did piano key on the can you see that? Piano key on the border, and just kind of let the pebbles stop where I thought they could stop, should stop. Let's see. Yeah, and piano key. And I tried to do the same design each time a block repeated. Each block repeats 3 times in these 6-inch blocks, 6-inch finished blocks. But sometimes I'd have a different idea as I was going along and did something different, and then thought, well, I'm not going back to that other one. This will just be different. So anyway, that's what I did. And then, let's see if I can show you the bottom here. On the top and bottom, oh, this pink thing, when I check my tension, I just take a strip of scrap fabric and put it out to the side and go and then round and around and then flip it and check my tension. So that's what those goofy things are, if you see those. Okay, on the bottom and on the top, I did, let's see, can it show? A clamshell. I did clamshells with feathers. Clamshells, I guess it's gonna show. Can you see it? Probably not. And then piano key around it. So more feathers. Let me see if I can. Yeah, that one kind of shows a little bit better. Clamshell, and then piano key border. And then I blended it at the corner for the piano keys to start and stop. To turn the corner, I squared it off and had the piano keys turn the corner. Did that the same in all 4 corners. So that's Patchwork Barn, laundry basket quilts. Let's see, I just finished it, but I stitched it in, I think it was 2019. And the vice versa, I stitched in 2013. Now how sad is that? But I had just gotten my long arm. I knew I didn't have the skills to quilt that, and didn't have any idea how to quilt it. What in the world design would I do? I pretty much knew stitch in the ditch. So that one has waited, and I think it'll be. I'm glad I waited, because I think I can do something fun with that and have it turn out pretty well. Okay, so that is it for me this time. I will be back on October 11 with my next Flosstube, and I will have some surprises that you might want to receive. So be sure to come back, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. So thanks, Flosstube. Bye-bye.